Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, great, beautiful, blessed Monday, first Monday episode of August. We are summering. It is summertime. I don't know how long I had y'all just in limbo because I didn't see that the intro video was over. So please let me know that you see me and you hear me. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And today, tickety tockety, hi tickety tockety. I don't have slides today, so we will have you all up in the conversation. Um, let's see, I have notes because I'm very professional today. Super profesh. Let me know that you hear me and you see me, please and thank you. I just want to make sure that we hear me and we see me. I'm not waiting though. So get up on here. So today's episode, that was a hard swallow. I'm trying. I'm ready to talk boundaries today. I'm ready. I realized as a recovering people pleaser, I'm not in this club alone, and we're going to talk about it. We're just going to talk about it. So what I really want to say is I love people. I love them. I love them. But girl, I'm tired. I'm tired. Okay? I'm tired. People can take advantage of that love. And today's conversation, we're going to talk about something that came directly from a real life thing that's happening, right? Or several, but a real life thing that happened. So I spent a lot of time this weekend on meetings and, trying to organize and set things up with people. And as much as I love being part of the general group and, committing to do things with groups of people, I also found myself trying to figure out how to meet expectations, show up with love and honor my responsibilities without, compromising my physical, my mental, my emotional health, and my boundaries. So, because loving people doesn't mean abandoning yourself or having unlimited access to you, today we're going to talk about why you can't pour from an empty cup and why protecting your energy is paramount. And it doesn't mean that you care any less about the people around you, the people that you are committed to loving and helping and growing with. It just means that you actually care about yourself the same amount. Okay. Now, I want to give a question early. I usually give questions at the end and then wait for y'all to DM me. But let's talk about this. If you want to put this in the comments. Okay, these comments on TikTok are hilarious. Thank you. So have you ever wanted to help everybody, but realize you're running out of energy to help yourself? Or wanted to do everything and realized that would bankrupt you for the energy to do the things that are most important? So those are the questions I'm going to propose for the whole show. So go ahead and drop the comments, answer what you think your answer is, okay? Who is that? What's going on? Who's he? Who's we? Oh no, you gotta go. Get out of my comments. Okay, so we're gonna talk about boundaries. So boundaries are not rules designed to control other people's behavior. Boundaries, they're decisions they're making about what you will do to protect yourself based on how someone else chooses to behave. So it's not really someone saying like, you can't do this. It's telling somebody that the consequences of them doing stuff will have a consequence that you've already predetermined, okay? And sticking to that is so, so important, because telling somebody over and over again, don't do this or this will happen, and then they keep doing it and keep doing it, and you don't have a consequence for it, that's a great way to just be talking. And that's not a boundary. That's wishing, hope, and dream. Like, please, I hope, please stop doing that, because I don't want to have to do this thing. Holding your boundaries is not super easy all the time. But holding your boundaries is super, super important, okay? Now, boundaries can be, boundaries are not, you're not allowed to speak to me this way. But boundary can be, if I'm being spoken to disrespectfully, I'm going to end this conversation and return to it when we can communicate respectfully. Or a boundary is not, you have to understand why I can't do this, especially with the lupus group, with a chronic illness group. Like, this is not, the boundary's not like, if you don't get it and this is why you suck, because you don't understand that I can't do this, right? The boundary is, I'm not available for this, and I'm not going to honor the decision even if someone disagrees. You know, like, I'm going to honor this. I'm not going to dishonor my decision to not do that thing, even if somebody disagrees. So, like, I'm so many times, like, even being younger, that people would convince me to do stuff I didn't really doing, because they were like, well, you got to do this. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, drinking. I thought, you know, I'm gonna have a good time. Like, I feel bad. Like, I don't want them to feel bad about whatever, because I'm not drinking with them, whatever. And people just bully you into it. And I was younger and more malleable and more like, oh, okay, well, like, I guess I have to. You don't have to. It's a boundary, and it's okay to have a boundary that people disagree with. It does not mean that your boundary is less than, or your, you know, your goals are less than because they don't understand or disagree with, right? So the key point of this, I hope you're taking notes, because I took notes. So this morning, I really changed everything I was going to do with this episode and wrote all this down. So a boundary is not about controlling another person. It's about being clear about your own participation in that situation, okay? So a boundary is not just a rule. A boundary is the rule and the consequences of that rule, okay? It's not controlling what they're doing. They get to still make the decision of what they're going to do. But then the consequences of that, right? So people being respectful to someone who is sick, when they're aware of what the consequences are, or even your body is setting boundaries with you all of the time, and the consequences of you violating those boundaries are you feeling sicker for longer because you were not respecting the boundaries your body was setting for you, okay? Now, when you live with chronic illness, boundaries can involve your energy, your rest, appointments, symptoms, accessibility, emotional capacity, or even recognizing that your body has limits at all, right? So all these things, all these boundaries that you have happening all the time around you, understanding that they're not punishments, they are communication, even when it comes to your body. Like, if you're not double, triple jointed, you know not to, like, I don't know, do a triple axel on ice skating because you're gonna hurt yourself, right? Like, if you don't know what you're doing, that's a boundary your body is setting. Like, bones break because that is a boundary. I can't turn that way. Do you know what I mean? Now, welcome. I want everybody to sit down. Everybody sit down. Sit down. Are you sitting down? Sit down. Okay. I want you to sit down because we're starting the meeting, okay? And the meeting is of the PPA. Welcome to PPA, People Pleasers Anonymous. It's not as anonymous right now because you're all on the internet, but it's fine. If they can have, you know, AA, NA, all the A's, we're having People Pleasers Anonymous. My name is Tenille, and sometimes I have tried to make everybody comfortable, even when it made me uncomfortable. So if you've ever done that, welcome to the club, welcome to the group, and that's okay. in this meeting, we'll be discussing topics like saying yes when you mean to say no. And even that, saying yes when you mean to say no, it comes off, the energy behind it is so icky. It's so icky. Like, I've done it throughout my life a million times, and like, it's not it's not as like it's not genuine, and people can feel it. They're like, are you here because you want to be here? Like, what's going on? Or like, you hold it as a tally of like, I did this many things for them because they're. But if you genuinely want to do it, and it's not like something that you're going to hold a grudge against yourself, against your body, against your people for, then it's a beautiful thing. Saying yes and feeling that yes, it's amazing. Feeling responsible for everyone else's emotions. The language can change with that too. The language can change because people say like, I made them mad. What it really is they got mad because, like, I held on to someone for so long, thinking that I was going to break their heart and I was going to make them sad and I was responsible for what they were feeling. That's not the problem. Like, that's not the issue. They are responsible for their own feelings, and I'm responsible for my own feelings and actions, right? So I wasn't making them feel any kind of way. That's how they felt. Yes. Okay. Apologizing for having needs. I really get irritated at this point with people over apologizing. Like, you bump into a chair and like, oh, I'm sorry. Or like, I have a friend from college, and she used to, I don't know if she still does, we talk barely, but she used to apologize for everything. Every sentence started with like, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. No, that's not. Save the apology for when the apology is really warranted, and otherwise save that because you might need it. It's genuinely wasting apologies that you could be saving for something that you really need to be forgiven for. Don't apologize for existing. Don't apologize for being the sick person. Thank you for grace. Thank you for grace. That's not what I intended to happen. Thank you so much for grace. Explaining your decisions repeatedly. I know over-explaining is a common ADHD thing because we're like compelled to make you understand what's going on. And if we don't explain it in every tiny detail of it, then we feel like you really don't understand. However, over-explaining can lead to a few things. People can think that you're over-explaining because it's not true. And that means you're not having faith in people to say that, like, you're not having faith that they're going to understand what you're saying, or like that you have to justify things to make it valid. When in reality, if people get it or they don't get it, that's still your reality and still valid, So trying to make your boundaries sound convincing enough that nobody can argue with it. People do not have to agree with your boundaries. Your boundaries are your boundaries. And that's just what it is. Like, there's nothing, you don't have to justify it to anybody. Let's see. So sometimes over-explaining isn't just communication. It's sometimes that it's an attempt to get other people to approve our reasons. And your reasons are always valid. Like, within reason. Don't quote me on that and put that on the internet. But like, your reasons are valid. Stop trying to beg people to understand what you're saying. Your needs don't have to only become legitimate when somebody else approves or understands them. Your needs are your needs. Your wants are your wants. Because people don't feel the same way you feel, the illness, the whatever it is, doesn't make your experience any less valid. So now, why boundaries can feel super challenging. Some people really, really struggle with setting boundaries in any way. And I feel like a lot of the times learning that as you get older is, the only way. Hopefully you catch this early and you learn this early, because it's taken me forever. And recovering people pleaser. People Pleasers Anonymous had to be created because of it, you know? So sometimes it isn't because we don't know what the boundary actually is. Sometimes it's really just because the experience taught us that boundaries come with consequences. And consequences can be really hard. So things that deter you from setting those boundaries are people going to be mad. People are giving you the silent treatment. They're retaliating. They're calling you selfish, and they withdraw like affection or attention, or they question your character, or they punish you in some kind of way emotionally, and act like you don't need the things that you're saying you need. And that's so painful. That's very hurtful. So how many people in your life have actually given you a safe place for you to say, I'm not comfortable with that? And it was just okay. Like through experience, you subconsciously decide like, this is not safe for me to have this boundary, right? So if that's not true, and even if it is true, like you're strong enough to handle it. You're strong enough to deal with that. And just think back to like, why is it hard for me to set boundaries right now? Is it because I'm not emotionally safe with how people have reacted in the past to the boundaries? Or like if people are asking you like, why are you always waiting for the other shoe to drop? How many shoes am I gonna get hit with? It could be that I'm getting hit with mad shoes. Okay, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because I've been ducking shoes since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes being hyper vigilant isn't a random thing. It's experiences that you've had, and sometimes it comes from repeatedly learning that honesty has consequences. It's not that the consequences are, you know, the worst thing ever, but they hurt. They're not super exciting. No one's walking into a situation looking for consequences that are uncomfortable. But like I always say, growth is super uncomfortable. You realize that anything good comes from some kind of discomfort. When sometimes refusing to set those boundaries sends an internal message to yourself that keeping others from being disappointed is more important than protecting my health, my mental, emotional, well-being. Because you think like, oh, if I can, keep myself small and not tell them that things are wrong or tell them these are my boundaries, then they won't get mad. Then, it doesn't matter how I feel. No, it matters. It really, really matters. A lot of chronic illness, I think, like in my humble opinion, is from holding on to all those emotions and overextending yourself and overdoing it in all the ways. And then you're forgetting about yourself. That's not okay. We do not go for that here. Not in People Pleasing Anonymous. We don't do that. So overcoming that for like specifically with people for chronic illness, but it probably has a cross effect. So saying yes when you need to rest may have severe physical consequences. I've done these things. Okay, I have gone to parties when I should have been asleep. I have gone to run errands when I didn't want someone else to do it because I felt proud about it and hurt myself. Came home sicker. But overcoming those things can give you the opposite of all that, right? So you're gonna have more energy, less symptoms, less stress, more sleep, emotional well-being, like recovery, like all of the things that pushing yourself too hard will bankrupt you of. You can have all those back if you have boundaries emotionally, physically. Like you can say no to going places. You can say no to doing things. You can say no even in the middle of it. Like I thought I could handle that. I can't handle that. And I, right now my body says it'll get figured out. I think that one of the huge things that were in my head was they need me. I have to do this. They need me. And then you find out, like, once you remove yourself from the situation, even if it's like, oh, it's traumatic, like I didn't want to, but I have to. If you remove yourself from the situation. Life goes on, things move on, people figure it out. You might be giving them an opportunity to figure something out that you were waiting around to do for them because you thought they couldn't handle it. And that's insulting to your people. Because what if your people would grow so much, learn so much, do so much more if they had the opportunity to, but you didn't let them? Sometimes you're saying no to something or drawing a boundary to something is helping someone else to grow their wings and fly. You ever think about it? You think about it? So your health should not always be the price that you pay to keep everyone else comfortable. Write that down. Put it on your rearview mirror. Put it on your wall. Your health should not be the price you pay to keep everyone else comfortable. Okay? Now, if that's like, it's like even talking about this made your chest tighten. Oh, I don't like that. Ask yourself, what are you sacrificing to avoid disappointing someone? What is, I made some big decisions just using that question. Like, how is me protecting this other person affecting, my well-being? I know for a fact that I would not be where I am if I hadn't cut off some relationships. And like, it hurts to know that me saying no about anything or drawing any kind of boundary was enough to make the relationship not, exist anymore. There's a prayer that I've been praying for the past few years. It's literally such a strong prayer. You can write this down, but I'm saying if you pray this prayer, be prepared to lose some people and be prepared to realize it's for the best. Because I've been praying this prayer for years and I have had a roller coaster of a few years, okay? So I have it on a note card next to my bed because when things feel off or things feel like, do I know if these people are really in my life for real or are they just, playing with me? I pray this prayer. So Lord, please remove everyone and everything from my life that is not of your purpose for me. Lord, please place everyone and everything in my life that is of your purpose for me. Lord, please clearly show me your purpose for me. It sounds super simple, but look at it. It had people dropping like flies. It genuinely did. And some of it was me being brave enough to be like, that doesn't work for me. I don't want that. I don't need that. Please, leave. Or strong enough to not answer the calls anymore, or strong enough to, stand my ground when we were in a disagreement. But a disagreement should not end a friendship. It should not end a relationship. Like, we can disagree and coexist. It's the respecting of each other's boundaries that keeps us together. So, let's see what else. Notes. Okay. So, also, ignoring yourself, ignoring like your boundaries can really affect your confidence, your self-esteem. It chips away at the little, having no boundaries means that you're not respecting yourself in a way that you really need to respect yourself. So every time that I know I need to, but I convince myself that everyone else's needs matter more than my needs, I'm unintentionally teaching myself not to trust me and my own voice. Right? Like, you want to hear your, in me, I'm thinking the voice of God. But when I want to hear my own intuition, when I want to hear this is what I should be doing and this is where I should be going. And like, I do eeny, meeny, miny, mo way too much when I really could be listening to my inner voice. But it makes me nervous or in the past, it's made me nervous because I let people erode my boundaries so much that how do I trust myself? Like, I think this is what I want, but then I let people convince me otherwise, So when you constantly override yourself, and what you really know you should be doing, it ruins your confidence in trusting yourself and your own voice. Hi. Okay, guys, I'm going to bring this in for a landing. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? A boundary is not something that you just communicate to other people. It is also a promise that you're making to yourself. So when you set a boundary, stick to that. Believe that. That's what you really want to convey to people. Is really what you want to stick by, because otherwise you'll stop believing your boundaries. That's how people get to be abused and things. When they say like, don't do this, and someone continues to do this and do this and do this, and you just let it slide, you start to convince yourself you're not worthy of that thing not happening to you, even though you asked not for it to not happen. Wow, that sentence was confusing. Somebody else put that in like AI and make that sentence make sense. Thank you so much. But being authentic and having boundaries, it's going to cost you some relationships. It's going to cost you some unhealthy relationships. And it's heartbreaking nonetheless. Like when you really care about somebody and your boundaries expose what they're really working with and who they really are caring about, it hurts. I'm not going to lie. Like this prayer is strong, and boundaries, if you let them be, can be real strong. And it is painful to lose people. Just like, and a person who sees the good in everyone I possibly can. I'm like, you know what? But that's something that I tell my friends, like, that's why serial killers, I gotta stay away from them, because I'll be like, I'll help you find your cat. You can't find, let me help you. Yeah, I'll walk to your car. Like, let me help you. And then stab, 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 you know? So I've chosen to, I love to have boundaries in my everyday life that I stick to. So sometimes we discover that relationships was being held together by like paper, by one person abandoning all of their boundaries so that you can maintain this relationship. That's not a real relationship. That's not a real friendship. That's not a real romantic relationship. Not a real office relationship. That is nothing. Okay. Each person should be able to keep their boundaries intact and have a communication, a what's give and take. Have y'all know the word, when you give a little, you take a little of that. A healthy relationship is not obliterating each of your boundaries and just doing things for each other. That doesn't make sense. So you can feel disappointed, you can disagree, you can whatever, and a healthy relationship should still make room for humanity, including illness, including, depression. That's, all of life will be lifing, and it'll be a beautiful thing as long as you roll with those punches, okay? So, I feel like this is the longest episode that's ever existed. Okay. And also, boundaries aren't all or nothing either. If don't do this thing where you get off this podcast and you're like, everyone's toxic. I'm talking to nobody. I have no friends. That is toxic. Healthy boundaries don't mean you stop caring about people or other people's needs. They only mean that you care about yours as well, and you treat your needs as important as you treat theirs. And you first. Worry about you first. Without you, you can't do anything. Let's say someone asks me to do stuff all day long, all night long. They're asking you to do stuff, and you've never done any of the stuff for yourself. How can you even help them if you didn't help yourself? If you're exhausted, if you're overwhelmed, if you don't see all of your stuff, that, hey, wow, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you? If you haven't done what you need to do to keep yourself going and whole and happy and healthy, how do you expect to be able to help people? Like, I was that girl. I want to conquer the world. I want to do everything. I'm going to help everybody. Everybody's going to love me because I'm going to help them so good. And then I was so exhausted I couldn't help anybody. And I laid in a bed for months because I was overextended. Oh, thank you so much for the heart. I appreciate your name. Thank you so much. So you can be compassionate and say no. Saying no is compassion for both of you. You can support someone without having to rescue them. You give them the opportunity to grow their wings and fly. You can be generous without overextending yourself. Don't say all the drinks are on me and then can't pay your rent. Or, yeah, I'll run this marathon for you to support this illness that I also have, and then, can't walk for a week. Don't bankrupt yourself by overextending. You can listen without taking responsibilities. In my crew, my community, we say I need to dump the trash, and all that means is that I'm gonna right now spill my guts, say everything, and then we can go back and work on it. It does not mean that you have to take any of that personally. You don't have to take home that emotion because they can work through it. You can help them work through it, but do not take all that responsibility on yourself. Okay? You can care about someone's feelings without making that your job. There's boundaries I'm drawing. You can call me about something a few times. You can call me about it a few times. And on that time that's too many times, we're gonna be like, well, we've talked about this enough, and I need you to go to your journal. You need to talk about this to God. You need to talk about this to other people, or we need to work on it. And we're not just talking about it, okay? So boundaries sometimes are really the kindest thing that you can do, the most loving you can be. And that's very important skill to learn as an adult, as a chronic illness warrior, as a person with needs of their own. You need to create some beautiful boundaries. And that prayer, I'm gonna put it in the comments everywhere. I'm gonna put it in the description everywhere, because that prayer has saved me from friendships that I knew were wrong, from relationships that I knew were wrong, from business partnerships I knew were wrong. But I just didn't have the strength to say no and set my boundaries at that time. So, look at my notes before I say anything. So I put some comments, some questions in the description of this original post, like the flyer. And I want these questions answered. So if you didn't read it, because people don't be reading, I want to ask these questions. So what boundary are you learning to protect? Do you struggle more with saying no or with holding your no after someone disappoints you? What do you tend to over-explain? What would you change if you treated your needs as equal to and important as other people's needs? What is one small boundary you could practice this week? I want that one real bad. Tell me this week, what's one small boundary that you're going to draw right now, this week? Okay, well, I hope you got what you needed from this. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you came. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. I haven't seen you in forever. I'm so glad you were here. We have Loopy's in the building. I gotta go back and report those comments. I don't know if you were here when I was getting crazy comments, but I appreciate you for being here. And we needed to talk. I haven't talked to you in a minute. So, y'all, just bringing it back to the beginning. This is the title. You cannot pour from an empty spoon, spoonies. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Regular schmegular, degular people. This is not your job to save everyone else. You need to make sure that you are safe and healthy and happy and sound before you can go reaching out to everybody else and saving everybody else. And I know helping feels really, really good. That is something that I will never deny. Helping other people feels amazing to me. But you're allowed to care about other people without destroying yourself. You cannot continue denying yourself health, joy, love by taking on everybody else's problems. You cannot continue pouring from empty spoon and expect yourself to stay as healthy as you possibly could be, right? So I hope you got some of that from what I'm saying. I'll be on Tickety Talkie a little bit longer. I want to go. Happy birthday, Dixon Myas. Happy birthday. I think that is a TikTok person. Yes. Happy birthday, Dixon. I hope you have a great birthday. Final thoughts. Your boundaries are not evidence that you love people any less. And they may just be evidence that you finally are learning to love yourself enough to stop abandoning your boundaries, right? Clip that. That's it. Your boundaries are not evidence that you stop caring about people or you don't care about them. It's that you care about yourself the most, as you should. Okay. So thank you guys for being here. And I love you. I feel like that was a hard conversation. I felt like I was making some boundaries with y'all. But thank you so much for being here. And please tune in every week, Mondays, for a live topic. Next week, we have a guest, a really cool guest that I met on TikTok. And yeah, stay tuned. Summer is almost over. School is about to be here. And I don't know if y'all be spending your lunch break with me anymore, because I know that the summer you guys have more free time. So I love y'all. Thank you for being here, and stay happily healed. Bye.